Huawei is getting serious about its efforts as a PC maker and is unveiling a couple new laptops here at MWC 2019. And first off is the new MateBook X Pro, which is the follow-up to the surprisingly popular MateBook X Pro from last year that industry reviewers really liked. It was popular because it had a great screen, a very nice body, and powerful performance and decent battery life. The new MateBook X Pro looks to promise more of that same goodness, but squeeze in a couple more goodies as well. So let's take a closer look. So first, the expected. We've got updated processors. You've got an up to 8th generation Core i7 CPU in there. We've got now up to 16 gigs of RAM, up to 1 terabyte SSD, up from 512 gigs from the previous model. And you've got a discrete graphics option here with NVIDIA's GeForce MX250 with 2 gigs of RAM included. So that's again another powerful package in terms of performance. What's impressive is that Huawei's managed to squeeze all of that while still keeping the same physical footprint here. This thing is still as thin and light as before with the really pretty MacBook-like design. You know, Huawei's still kind of going after this design that everyone's very familiar with now, and it's honestly a little bit dated by now. I would love to see Huawei push the envelope a little bit on the design front, but for now, this is still a really nice looking laptop. They've changed up the logo, removing that floral-ish emblem from before, replacing it with just the Huawei name, which is a cleaner aesthetic. Since everyone loved the display from the previous model, Huawei's decided to, hey, keep it exactly the same. Here you've got a 3K touch panel that goes up to 450 nits of brightness, which should be plenty for use even under harsh lights. We've got a nice, comfortable keyboard with 4 speakers with Dolby Atmos enhancements for very good sound, as well as a roomy extra large click pad. It's basically the same size as before. It gives you more room to kind of do your 2-finger gestures, do your 3-finger scrolling, all of that good stuff. Huawei's also upgraded the ports here just slightly. We've got 1 USB-A on the right side and 2 USB-Cs and a 3.5mm audio jack on the left. But here's what the bonus is. One of the USB-Cs supports Thunderbolt 3, so you can push out your display to a 4K monitor or, you know, attach a graphics card up to GTX 2080 if you want. What is really interesting this time around is that Huawei's made some software upgrades to the MateBook X Pro to help you use it better. First of all, instead of having to figure out how to take a screenshot on Windows, which according to Huawei apparently is something that's not very intuitive, all you have to do now is swipe down on the screen with 3 fingers to trigger a screenshot app. Now, you might think that that's not as intuitive as finding a screenshot button on the keyboard, but what I do like about the feature is that it's much more useful than simply saving what's on your screen. After you drag down from top with 3 fingers, a window appears, you tap on the picture and drag to select what part of the screen you actually want to save. And then you have options like scanning the image for text or sharing it directly to your phone. So this is a much more useful screenshot tool for people who are, you know, always screenshotting. Then there's also a new feature called OneHop, which is part of Huawei Share 3.0. The original MateBook X Pro used Huawei Share 2.0, which made for easy sharing of your files between your phone and your laptop, even across platforms like iOS or Android. OneHop, however, is designed to work just between Huawei devices. So say you got a Mate phone or you have one of Huawei's, you know, mid-range phones. All you have to do is once you've got the setup with your Huawei ID all sorted out, just have to put your phone on the Huawei Share sticker on the deck, which is basically an NFC trigger, and it will immediately transfer whatever picture or file or video you have on your phone screen over to your laptop. This is a 2-way transfer. You can also send files from your laptop to your phone, which is pretty convenient. Finally, there's a new feature called clipboard sharing, which we haven't been able to test ourselves yet, but basically whatever you've Control-C'd on your laptop's keyboard can immediately be pasted onto your phone, again, if you have your account synced, obviously. Since these are mostly just software updates. They're also going to be available on older MateBooks that have NFC on board, as well as the other laptop that Huawei announced today, the MateBook 14. Now, if you recall, we saw the MateBook 13 at CES, which was just a month ago. And already Huawei has a 14-inch version. Now, the difference between the MateBook 14 and the 13, apart from the size, are that the 14 also has that pop-up webcam under the keyboard like the MateBook X Pro does, as well as a lot more ports. For instance, you have two USB-A ports, one of which is 3.0, one of which is 2.0, as well as USB-C, audio, and HDMI. So according to Huawei, you won't even need a dock with the MateBook 14. Otherwise, for the most part, the MateBook 14 has basically the same guts as the MateBook X Pro 2nd generation. You can get it up to Core i7 8th generation, as well as the same set of RAM, just 512 gig SSD at top though, so not as powerful as the MateBook X Pro. We don't exactly know when these two will be available yet. We do know the MateBook 14 is supposed to be slightly cheaper than the X Pro. When they are available for shipping though, these are beautiful machines that are probably going to be very popular again. I would wait until our full review before you spend your money splurging on one of these things. Until then though, stay tuned to Engadget.com for all of the news out of MWC 2019.